Hello. I think that's it. Yep. Okay. Well, let's hope. Let me peek at this. Oh, yep. We are live. Okay. So my name's Micaiah Stevens. This is my programming channel, and this is a test of our live stream capabilities here. We'll have to see how it goes. We've got 0 views, so I'm hoping this will be an interesting way to put out content without I don't know, putting a lot of effort into it, honestly. Okay, so we are talking about tiles. Let me bring up the kind of documentation I have on this. This should be very exciting. So I'm Micaiah Stevens. This is called Haven Tiles. This is version 15, and we've got a lot of design ideas. Yeah, so let's get right into it. Um, so one of the things to me is I like to talk about a little bit about history. I think Super Mario Brothers, while interesting. And this is kind of like a Minecraft-ish platform. So that's kind of what we're talking a lot about is Minecraft and tiles and graphics. And yeah. So this is kind of a side view of you can see the block space is really clear based on the tile design, and then the little I guess the character fits into a block space. So I thought Super Mario Brothers was interesting because I started programming, um, and that's one of the I made Super Mario Brothers. I really wish I had that on a video, YouTube, but it didn't exist at the time. So anyway, so yeah, so this is quite similar how it's a 2D side-scrolling view of tiles, but they kind of use the same block space. Um, the single tile, whatever your pixel size per block space, and then your character moves around within that block space, but is constrained to within that block space. Now, it's important to know, I think a lesson for me is even though you're constraining the character to the block space, the character is free roaming. Their X, Y, and Z is independent of the block space. That was kind of a real challenge for me. And someone's like, "Why are you trying to constrain it to the block space?" I'm like, "Well, I want this to be there." And yeah, so that's in my rogue game. There's a programmatical reason to do it that way, but really the character has to move from this block space over to the next block space, and then realize I need to fall down if that's the case. So the other thing to do is talk about Minecraft. I'll probably try to provide links in the pinned comment to these, uh, where I borrowed these from. So this is Minecraft. It's copyrighted of Mojang, and Super Mario is copyrighted of Nintendo. So um, anyway, so Minecraft. This is well, you can see this is a flat world example, and you can kind of see like I actually like this because I have this exact same problem with my world space. We'll create a the world plane, and then we'll see how that goes. In terms of viewing. And anyways, I should have. Did I mention this is? Yeah, here I should have. Here, let me edit this. All right, sorry. Uno momento. Unity. So yes, this is a Unity. I'll see if I can type correctly. Well, guess not. I my keyboard broken. Oh, oh, come on. Hashtag Unity. There we go. Hashtag programming. Hashtag C#. Oh yes, people. You're gonna recognize C sharp. Okay. Okay. It doesn't like C#, but okay. Yes, there we go. Doesn't like C#, but anyway, so we can see that we have a ground plane here. I should also maybe like bring up the comments. I thought there was a way to see comments on OBS. Yes. Oh yes. Here, let me say testing. This is what I hate about live stream. Testing out the live stream functionality. Uh, let's hope. Let's hope. Nope, nope. Yeah, that's what it's like when you get all these like management stuff that you got to do. to test out, to manage the subscribers, chat, all this stuff that just really takes away from a better video. So that's one distraction, right? Anyway, so we've got this world plane that's representing the grass or the ground level, and then we've got these Minecraft has the block space. This is what we're going to be replicating here in a few minutes. Is this 1 by 1 by 1 blocks? We're going to be doing it very poorly, and yes, I acknowledge that there's stairs and all sorts of alternative blocks spaces that could be used. So Dwarf Fortress, I think, is a really good example because I love this picture. Um, this is a Polygon article, but I've seen this in other examples, which I think is just beautiful because it really influences my decision. But um, but yeah, so um, but if you could kind of think about this, if you follow my mouse, where you've got this little tile, which is exactly what we're going to be building, and then you've got this Minecraft block space. I'm going to be thinking about including the Minecraft tile block space. Um, but I think in this also might be that in my example, these block spaces, the character is 2 tiles wide. So in my dungeon example, um, I'm using a 2 tile wide example. So this is the ground plane up here, right? This level plane here, and it's got these tiles or blocks, and then you've got these 2 block spaces, just like in Minecraft, where you can dig, and Terraria. Well, Terraria is a little bit, but I mean, I feel like Terraria is the same in terms of going through that, digging through the wall. Um, but yeah, but and for me, it's like when the programmatically, build the dungeon. This is kind of what I think I like to see is even though these tiles are they're in block space formats of point 0.1 is what I'm going with, and then the overall the block space. So like this would actually be considered my block space, and my unit is actually sitting in from point 0.1 all the way up to point 7 or whatever, and then yeah, so it's done quite a bit differently. And speaking of which, here's Hamlet. So I mean, I know that Hamlet's the elephant in the room. Hopefully will. Oh, chat is apparently disabled for this stream. Oh, great. Okay, well, I guess that's great for me because I don't have to think about chat. Um, Chat rate 1, yeah. Okay, so anyways, this is Hamlet. This is my game that I've built. You can see that it's hard to see this because you're kind of not looking at the right angle, but this is actually that point 0.1 tile space, and this is the rogue element. Um, you can see that in this axe example, there's an element that's in that tile space. It's a 1 by 1. I call it unit space now. Well, it's like block space, but yeah, it's kind of, and there again, you can see our unit is basically 2 tiles high, and then that's our trees are 2 tiles high with 2 tile high leaves. But yeah, so and then from here we get into the this is like tiles version 15. Um, you know, um, 3D models, right? So these are kind of we'll actually be building these in Unity in a few seconds. Um, and this is the so you can see like this is oriented based on the Unity's block space or unit space, I guess, or however you call it, the X. So this is 0, 0, 0. We're actually we're flipped 180 degrees on the camera to look at this. So this is the X coordinate. This is the Z coordinate, and the Y coordinate is up and down. And then yeah, so we're rotated 180 degrees. This probably makes it a little more confusing, but that's what I decided to do. We can see this more in Unity. And then this is signifying that our blocks are going to be moved over by 0.5 to align with Unity's grid system. So, oh, I didn't set that up here. Let me see if I can. I guess I can't pause. Yeah. Oh well. Sorry. Um, okay. So what we want to do is create a new project. So this is going to be using the Unity 2019. This is going to be a 3D project. We're actually going to put it in Work 2024. We're going to disconnect it from the Unity Cloud. I think we're going to go under Micaiah Stevens for this project. So we're going to name this Micaiah. And then this is going to be tiles show. Well, actually, what we're actually going to call this is Minecraft 2024. Um, so it's kind of the, Minecraft Dwarf Fortress, you know, Hamlet, right? That's the core here. So we're creating a 3D project because although we're going to have a lot of, I think we could actually just create a 2D project, but I think for this example we're going to stick with 3D. Even though the tiles, it makes the conversion from 2D to 3D for you. But I'm just trying to work with this example project, um, hopefully for about an hour. So we'll see how far we can get. Okay, so well, we'll keep this in mind. I think we can move this to my second monitor, and then this will boot up. So my hope here is as well. That was quick. So I love Unity 2019, and I'm kind of stuck in 2019, and it's because of the dialogue whenever I pull up anything in Visual Studio, make a code change, do anything, a dialogue will pop up and say, "Hey, I'm doing stuff in the background." And it's like the problem for me is like when I go, okay, so yeah, see, and there, like just like this, right? So this is actually not like this. Yes, there's something that needs to happen that's blocking the UI, right? That's a common. You're and you're putting it on the main thread and you have to stop all, stuff all displaying. I get that, right? That's unfortunate. But yeah, I mean, there are scenes, but so Unity 2019 is doing those things, but it's not doing it, it's running it more in the background or stuttering, I think, in this case. So we unfortunately have to come into the packages here, mostly because I'm kind of paranoid and like to be on the latest version of the packaging. Although it seems like, yeah, I don't know why these can't be auto updated. For instance, like this Visual Studio is really important to me. We're using Visual Studio 2019 Community Edition, so we're not using code, so I want to remove code. I don't know why I do that for every project, but I do. I also like to remove the JetBeans writer. I don't have the money to pay for it, and it seems cool, but it just doesn't. I'm a Visual Microsoft 100% type of person, so honestly, when Microsoft bought Minecraft, I'm like, wow, that's just oh, and it's oh no, sorry, the framework's one up above. So you kind of have to do this, unfortunately, for every time you boot up a project. Um, yeah, so it looks like we're getting no views, which is okay. I'm 100% okay with that. I thought this would be a nice way to showcase what I'm working on and kind of do a live stream format. And wow, my mouse is arguing with the second monitor. Anyways, okay, so what we want to do is create a folder. Let's call this Minecraft. We're going to duplicate that folder. We're going to name, that was Control D. It should have a, this is not a, it's not a Blender example. Okay, so we're going to call this Hamlet. And then do we want to include Dwarf? I don't know if we're going to get to Dwarf Fortress, but yeah, Fortress. And then I'm just going to delete the scenes folder, and then I'm going to create a new scene. And we're just, so I'm going to create a new scene. We're going to call it test Minecraft here. And then we're going to create a C sharp called test Minecraft. And there we go. And then we're going to double click on the test Minecraft. We're not going to save this scene because this would resave the scene as our scenes. We're going to switch to this scene. From here, we should just let's just create a folder called resources, even though we don't need to. You might call this prefabs, but yeah, from here, we're just going to create an empty. So anytime you create a game object, you want to create the empty. So I'm just going to call this block geo, right? So this is the block game object, right? And then from here, and then you can see we are orienting it at 0, 0, 0, which is this central point right here. And then we're going to align this to the node space, right? These are nodes on our graph. So this is a node space on our graph. And if I move this over X by 1, it's going to move this nodes. It's going to move the node space. I think of these as nodes over by 1. And then alternatively, if I go -1, it's going to move it to that. I'm showing my hand, but you can't see that. But anyways, it's going to go in the negative X direction this way. And then similarly on the Z, we're going to go forward when we go by 1 direction, and -1, we're going to go back. And then if we want to go to the dungeon level, we have to say -2, which is hard to see in this case. So if I take my camera, we moved the block space down, and now maybe you should move it by -3. Might be a way to think about. We're not going to get into the 3D in this example because we're just trying to showcase this this sort of example. So from here, let's actually under here, let's create some materials first. So I want to see some materials. So I'm just going to go materials. I need a visual because I don't like looking at white surfaces. So we're going to create 2 materials. We're going to call this the dirt, and I want to call this grass. So this is kind of like our textures in Minecraft. Um, you can think about it like that. And what I want to do is click on here, change the color to some dirt looking object. I really need to get colorization down to an art. I just always like design it just like that and say, I'm good. Okay. So now the next thing I want to do is create a 3D cube. Um, and you can see we've got this cube. So a cube is a blender, it's like Blender. Um, and it's got a block space, right? So you can think about the and actually, in fact, I said I really hate that because I'm not a fan of white. So what we're going to do is change this to dirt, right? So you can see now we've got this dirt cubed object that we've created. This is all really basic, but I just thought, hey, might as well since I'm talking about it. So this is a 1 by 1 block. You can actually see, I think if you click here on the blocks and then click here, you can see the outline, which is really cool. I mean, I wish there was a way to, this, so, that's kind of like our box selection element that we saw in our Hamlet version. Anyway, so we're technically not going to be using box gliders. This is not a physics-based thing. I think it would save us a lot of cycles of CPU. You can see though that we're unaligned from the block space. So I just feel like if I move this by 0.5 and 0.5, we're in that block space, right? So we are technically now. I think it's hard to see. Oh, sorry. And you also have to move this up by 0.5, technically, because the ground plane, right? So to me, it's like, okay, well, let's do that, right? So let's create a empty, we're going to call this ground geo. And then we're going to say, hey, we're good. And then you could use a 2D object, well, a 3D object like a quad would be an interesting, and then like scale it up by 150. Is that, yeah. And then you can take your mesh renderer and then take your grass. Let's see if I have done this wrong somehow. Oh, there we go. Okay, yeah, I think this is like 1 in 150, right? Maybe? What did I do wrong? Scale X, scale Z. Maybe it's just not happy this way. Yeah. Oh, okay, the Z. Okay, yeah, so let's make this 300 by 300. Oh, I'm scaling this wrong. Okay, so it is 1 by 300. I'm not sure why it's not. If you rotate this by 90 degrees, I think it would be much easier. Yeah, 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 there we go. And maybe it should be like minus 90 degrees. No, it's not going to be visible. So the reason, okay, so like to me, it's like, okay, why is it not visible? So that's a easy thing to think about, right? So if this is, here, let me make this, I don't know, 50 by 50. So we can actually get more like, okay, so we took a quad, which is just a graphics object, and we've applied a texture of grass to it, right? So now we're looking at that Minecraft picture. And I feel like I should bring that over, right? So we're looking at the Minecraft picture right now. So which is way up, like there again, we're also kind of looking at that. But the Minecraft, right, in this example is a flat, ground plane that is at the zeroth, position, right? Theoretically. It's at sea level at zero. And this, while this is probably Minecraft blocks, you just don't see it. So we're avoiding that. And again, I was also talking about the selection box, and this is what I was talking about is this, you know, this one by one selection box. Um, anyway, so we've got this cool you know and here again we can think about that if we go 5 and then like do like a 33 and then maybe -5, we'll actually start getting um graphics. And you can see that because we're at a certain angle of 33, our ground plane almost has to be like 100 or 5, but really it should just be 50-50. And maybe that's fog, right? You can't view outside of that. But anyways, it's going to be helpful. But to me, like, okay, what happened? Why did I go -90? Well, I think, like, to me, if you click on here and you say slided global, I thought there was a way to say you can decide that I want to um double sided global. Oh, okay, that's for the light mapper only. Um, but essentially, when you look underneath, you'll see this graphics object. So, um, to me, like there again, like, so what we could do is create a 90-degree turn right here, and now we get this graphical plane that's in all directions, and that might actually save us, um, you know, um, below ground, and then we can call this above ground. In fact, we could actually say like this is a graphics for a quad, right? So, and then duplicate this and say, okay, well, the alternative is you could say, okay, what we're talking about doing is saying, okay, well, let's create a 3D object of a cube, right? And, um, let's say Minecraft, right? So this is going to be Minecraft. And then we're going to come down here and say, this is going to be, we'll just call it Hamlet for lack of a better word right now. And then so from these cubes, let's take a default of grass as the default cube, and then we can turn off the quad, right? So now we're seeing, okay, we have this cube that's, and there again, that's a good, kind of a good point. Like this is centered um, a little bit wrong. So I'd really like to just say this is 0.5 and 0.5, and now we're centered per the tile. But let's turn this off. So obviously we need to do the same thing for these cubes to say 0.5 and 0.5. And then for cubes, you actually have to say 0.5. But that actually gets me into the issue of like this is my my dirt block, right? My dirt, and then this is I don't know. Let's just keep it as cube or whatever. Anyway, so that gets into the issue that my dirt block is now interfering in my ground plane. So you could technically take these and say -1, um, right? And that would, why is this not visible? Would be visible at this point. Oh, oh, my, huh. Oh, sorry. I see. I did -1. Yeah. So, um, no, okay. So, well, I could actually just do 0.5, right? There we go. Yeah. So I could take my ground and say -1. That's an alternative to what you could be doing, right? Because you could be saying, hey, that's my ground. And then from here, like we'll just take this to 150 by 150. Um, and um, and then, well, here, let me do 50 by 50. So I'm adjusting both the Minecraft and the Hamlet block to signify that. Um, and then I see my dirt block here. And then if I look at my scene view, I get the same scene view, right? So regardless of what I do, I get the same scene view. So, I mean, to me, graphically, there's no difference. The lighting still affects the same. Um, you know, it's clear in terms of, we should probably set up some code to put all this together into one. Um, But ultimately, too, I feel like, we're displaying a lot of graphics. Um, let's see if we actually take this camera. Let's take a fancy camera and let's dump this up here. Let's turn off the main camera, and we're going to say this is a 45-degree angle. We're going to say -5, and then -50. Oh, -50. Oh, -25. I bet -25. Yeah. Let's make this like 66. No, 15. Yeah, 33. Um, yeah. Well, let's make it minus. I feel like why are we? It's like we're way way too much. Yeah. So I'll make this 25. This 25. Because we don't need to be. I mean, that's all we're. Let's say that's a chunk. That's a chunk, and then see. So to me, it's like what you can see is like 50-50 is we're at that edge of the. So you look at the camera here. Um, oh, why is the camera? It's like my camera is. Like, am I rotated on? Yeah. Why is the camera not doing that? Yeah. So it feels like we're at this edge here, but really you just need to be -25, -20. Oops. And then what? 45? Did I? There we go. Okay, so yeah, so then it's like you can see that the transform here is we're -25, -25 because that's, we're off centering, but honestly it's -25 divided by 2, right? That's and then here again, it's probably -15 to account for the, oops, -15 to account for the, having the graphics. Now that doesn't look very good, honestly, but, um, yeah, it's like this fancy, cool camera. That kind of looks more realistic to what we're trying to accomplish here. Um, you could actually maybe like lower this and make this 0. This like 1. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I do like to. Oh, oh no, I see. Sorry, 1. Here, 3, 5. Anyways, so that, yeah, so but then here again, like we actually want to do is 0.1, right? So this actually will feel like um, now we're kind of into the. I guess this could be called. This could be called Dwarf Fortress, right? So this is like, let's rename this to Dwarf Fortress. Um, so their space is okay. Um, Again, let me show you that example of why I'm calling it Dwarf Fortress. Right here is the Dwarf Fortress example of we've got the block right here that we can dig out, but we're up here, and then we've got this ground plane that's, you know, there again, this looks like more 0.3. Um, this is more 0.3. Um, but from here, now we got to do fancy math, right? Because we are, we're in this, if you do 0, and essentially, so if you do 0, you can see that because we're at 0.1, this is expanded outward. So what we have to do is say 0.1 divided by 2, and then we get into that block space. It's hard to kind of see this, but if you look up just slightly, we're into this block space by, that small amount. So we're now into that block space correctly. However, we are, I would surmise, is just way too low, right? We're just too low um, from that. So really, we need to be zero point 0.9 or sorry, minus zero point 0.1. Yeah, so minus zero point 0.1. Now we're into more of that correct block space, and we're aligned with the character's unit space. Um, yeah. Um, Now this gives me issues. I feel like when I'm saying, okay, where is my ground plane? And to me, my ground plane is now at negative zero point 0.1. So it's like, well, that's okay, I guess. But to me, it's like now I'm actually, doing floats, right? I'd really have this say, 1 or whatever, but it's like I'm using, oops, this is negative 0.1, by the way. So I'm really using those, um, the float. Oops, I guess this is 0.5. That's why it feels just a slightly off. But yeah, so I'm really saying my ground plane is zero point 0.1 and I'm in the block space, right? So to me, let's get another empty. We'll call this unit space, and then we'll create really I just create a unit collider, right? And you just say, hey, I want a box collider, and then this box collider is 2 units. It's going to be 1 unit high. And if I click here, oh, and then that's 0.5, zero point 0.5 by zero point 0.5. Oops, 5 by zero point 0.5. It feels like this unit space, yeah, is not 0, 0, 0. So the unit is at 0, 0, 0, but their box collider is again is that that unit space that encapsulates this. Um, but yeah, so that to me feels a little off. I feel like so if I actually say this is at 0, and then say the unit space is at well 0.9. Let me see if I can. And then this is actually 0.1. Um, I feel like to me we are um, we're still encapsulating the unit space. And there again, so we actually, and there again, now we can actually have a ground, right? This is the sky geo, right? The like ceiling, right? This is the ceiling, and then this can be up by 2. And then we have this, so they're getting, so now we have um, and this it really should be maybe 3. Um, yeah, so now we have this dwarf fortress like element where we have this zero point 0.1 cube that's and then we have this unit space that gives us this Minecraft like, but then there again, the problem here now is all your unit has to be point, oops, not the unit space, but the blocks. All your blocks have to be up by point 0.6, zero point 0.6 to account for that unit space, right? Or the ground space. Um, yeah. So that's interesting. You oops, zero point 0.6. Yeah. You could alternatively, right, is say, okay, well, my ceiling is at 3, right? So what prevents my floor, right? Oops, no, come on. My floor to be at 0. Um, and it feels like there again, my floor is taking over my ground plane, even, and it's much more. So my ground here is, yeah. Um, and it's like um, I get that same approach. So it's like half dozen the other, really, at that point, what you want to do. So it's like you still get this 3 tile wide, like trees can fit in there, for instance. But let's see. It's so now let's create a character camera, and I want to attach that to my unit space actually. Here, let me say unit camera. So my unit camera will be 0, 0, 0, and I want to turn off my fancy camera. This is where I start getting into camera management, issues. So I want to be, up by 2 and back by 1, and I don't want to be on 45, right? Because I don't want to, yeah. And then this is, oh no, not -1. Oh no, maybe it is -1. And then what? Why do I have to be? I guess the camera has to be 0.5. And really, what I should do is just say create a empty and call this the camera rig at and then this needs to be here, and then now I can raise my camera up by 1 or lower it by 1 without changing my um, unit. And I think like to me is like our 45s. Yeah, I feel like 45s, and then we can do 3. Um, but does that? Yeah. So that and then here's my. Let me see my under my ground plane. Yeah, let me say my ground plane is change this to dirt. Oh, that's probably not a good idea. Here, let me actually create a another resource here, a material. Call this player, and then we'll have the player be like dark blue or something. Player will be dark blue, royal blue, as they say. And then here, let's turn off the dirt block. Or let's actually move the dirt block -2, and then we'll have a create a 3D object cube, and we'll say this is a 2 tile by 1 tile high cube. Where's my unit space field? Okay, and then under here is the unit collider. Yeah, so this is, well, this is 0.9, and this is, well, 2 and 0.1. Oh no, this is 1.1. There we go. And then let's add the blue material to the player, and then take your camera. Not sure where the camera feels. I guess it's this. No, -1. This -1. Yeah. Okay. And then this is -2. -1.5. Yeah. Well, -2. We're trying to actually get the visible backspace. How about? I know. One more change, I swear. -1.75. There we go. And I feel like the camera rig could be 4. No, 3.5. No, 3. Yeah, so 3. I think it's because we're hitting that. Yes, and then here we want to say, okay, this is um, this is dirt, and technically, what I guess I want another material for. Let's call this stone, and then we'll say, hey, to there, and then this is going to be my stone block. There we go. Oh, no, my cube is 0.5, 0.5. There we go. That's gonna drastically change things. So this is 0.5. Yeah, there we go. And then this is -1.5. There we go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, that's gonna be. Feel like we could be. I don't know how to be pulled 0.75. Yeah, it feels like our camera needs to be higher, and then we need to at that point turn off the ceiling. Well, that's highly interesting. Here, let me actually turn this off. Hit my camera. Sorry, I'm playing. I know I'm playing. This is what I do when I code. I play a lot. Um, okay, so then, oh, -1.5. There we go. What I actually want to do is create a light, and let's call it a point light. And then, yeah, let me take my point light, get into my scene here. I just realized that my lighting is, I haven't actually played with lighting in such a long time. I'm like, oh, it's something I really want to do, but I haven't played with it in such a long time that, like, oh, interesting. Right, so I want to, here, let me go to overhead view. How do I, is there a hotkey to say, hey, turn this off? Uh, no, 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 no. Okay, what happened? Oh, we're good. My point light needs to be, oh yeah, okay. Da, da, da. And then let's move it down and back just a tad, like 0.5. Oh, here we go. So 0.5, 1.5, 1.5. Yeah. And then cool. It feels like we're getting a little too much um, lighting. So this is like 1, 0.5, 2, 0. Oh, the radius. Here, let me say the range is like 3. And then let me say the ceiling is active. There we go. Okay. And then let's see my point light. I feel like I want to put it like 2. Do I have to put it 2? But 3. Yeah. Hmm. Let me move my stone block ahead by 2. There we go. Huh. Anyways, I'm sure that's very exciting, but let's move on because we're kind of, yeah, we've got 20 minutes to implement a ton of code. Yeah. And in fact, I have no idea how I'm going to do the code. But anyway, so yeah, so all that's done. I guess maybe we should just come back with a second live stream to like. I didn't realize it was going to take so long to set this up. We come back in a couple hours and after lunch. Anyway, so from yeah, we've got all this built. We've got our stone block. Um, yeah, just wow. This is why I really wish the camera would call. This is camera calling at this point. Like if this ceiling is active. Oh, I guess in the scene view, right? If I click on here and click on the camera, yeah. Where's my? Yeah, so if my camera is actually raised up by 1, yeah. So this is like, why is this? Remove the audio listener here. Remove the audio listener. So this is where like culling needs to kind of come into play. Yeah, because if my camera were to say move up by 1, then you'd like, okay, I need to turn off the this. Um, and now I can see more. And then if I like move my Z for, oops, not my Z for it. If I move my camera rig ahead by 1 or like 2, and I say, hey, look, you know, well, I guess this is like 1 and then look down by 33. Yeah, so that's, here, let me copy this, copy component, and let me say create empty, and this is the ground view, and I'm gonna push this as here. Yeah. Anyway, so we're getting distracted, but yeah, so that's the premise for everything we're doing and why we're doing it. And to say yes. Oh, and let me my camera rig. Yeah, this is my ground view transform. So this is like if I, if I copy this code into the rig, I've actually got my the ability to look at the ground and do stuff with the ground, like farming and stuff like that, which is a huge portion of the game. Um, but yeah. Um, okay, so we've got all that set up. I think at this point, we're just going to remove the ceiling. We're going to look at our ground here, our floor, and feel like we're just sticking with the Dwarf Fortress, which is technically the Hamlet Dwarf Fortress sort of view. And then we're going to look at, yeah, we're going to start looking at code, I think, at this point to generate these stone blocks, right? So let me create some scripts. So we'll just say, let me create a folder. We'll call this just base. And we'll just say create a C# script, and we'll call this graphics mono geo. Yeah. And then let's get to coding. It's a programming live stream, and we've got 45 minutes, and we're not even programming. Whew. Okay, so let's get some serialized material here. Let us actually just go create a serialized materials list, and then we'll just go public enum material types, and we're just going to say dirt, grass, stone. And then we'll just say, I think we'll skip player, although because player is kind of a preset special thing. And then here, let me rename this to materials. And then let's say, yeah, let's just get the material types, I guess. We'll do a serialized field material types. Those material, here, let me do a material type, because material type dot dirt. Yeah, and then we're gonna say cool. Um, and then we're gonna drop out of here and go to our resources. Go to, oh, we didn't create the prefabs. Let me create the prefab of the stone block here, and then we'll just come in here and then we'll add the graphics mono geo, and then we'll boom boom boom. So this is essentially a 000. Let's focus on this. We are at the cube space is correct. And then I want to lock this window here, which is here. Come in here and drop the player dirt, grass, stone into the material slots. So preset that up, dirt, grass, stone. And I want to say that I need a here. So we're going to create a header, which is going to say set in inspector, which we just did. And then we're going to say view and inspector, view and inspector. Here, let me bump this down. Yeah, this, and then here, let me say serialized field. So this is a mesh renderer, MR equals null. Uh, yeah, we go back to the block. We're gonna drag the mesh render here. You can like view and change, like change an editor. I don't know. We're not. Yeah. I guess this is like kind of, I don't know. The idea is we can set this, but it will someday be changeable. And this also is viewable as we set this in code. And then on our start, we just basically take our MR equals the, MR dot material. Oh, come on. MR dot material will equal our materials with the int of our material type. I think that's, yeah. Here, let me get rid of the update. Um, update is cost a lot of code. And then there again, we can probably just set this to awake. I like to keep those for some reason. And then there again, so we've got this cube. We run the example. It should turn into a dirt block. Perfect. Okay, so that's good. The next thing to do is to I feel like we could also say this is the uh, Minecraft. And then we're also going to say this is the hamlet, right? So I want to say 0.1 and then 0.05. Is that what I want to do? And if I turn off this, um, what am I looking at here? Oops, what did I oh, disable this? Wow. Oh, it's locked. So if I disable that and turn that on. Oh, this is oh, I think I screwed it up somehow. Yeah, so this is 0, 1, and this is going to be 0.1, and you're going to be 0.05. Yeah, so we're in that same block space, but we're now, and unfortunately at this point, you actually have to say, hey, we need MR, let's call this Minecraft, and then this is MR Hamlet, and then this is also MR Hamlet, set to the same thing. Essentially, we're going to be using the same game object prefab for our design uh, design meeting here. That's if it wasn't clear, that's the whole point of this, right? The whole point is to get everybody up to speed, talk about the different types of technology, and then compare again, which I've done in the past, but compare the displaying of game objects at a tile like this or in a tile like Minecraft, like this, and then compare the two. So it's like that's pretty much what we're trying to accomplish here, is to compare the Minecraft 1x1 block example to the Hamlet 1x1 by 0.1 block example. Yeah. Um, cool. And then where's my my stone block feels like it's wait, what? It feels like to me like it's oh there we go. Yeah, there we go. Why is it 0.1? Okay, so and then here we go. So overall I'd apply all. Um, yeah. And then this is 0.1. Okay, great. So if I turn this on, yeah. Um, oh, this actually needs to be 0? No, 0.5. Huh. Yeah. So this is yeah. You can see the major problem here, right? This, well, I guess it's 0, but then this will represent the entire block, whereas this will represent the unit space, right? So this like blocks the entire block out, whereas the unit can step into it. So it's like this completely, it's probably the worst way to do this, but I could create two separate prefabs and maybe I should, but yeah. Okay, so from here, let's get into um the test Minecraft code, right? So from here, we've got this test Minecraft code. So this is basically test out Minecraft. So I need a serialized field game object, and we're going to call this the block prefab equals null. And then what I want to do is say for dot dot dot. I've done this 1,001 times, so dot 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 dot. And we're going to say, okay, so our int size equals 10. We're going to go negative size to negative size. And then we're going to go to plus 10. So this will create 100 by 100. And we're going to go game object, geo equals game object dot instantiate the prefab. Then we're going to go geo dot transform dot position equals new vector3 int of I0j. And let's get the int height equals 0. And we'll dump this into here. And then what we're going to say is this, you control, I don't know. Anyways, if you need some help with Visual Studio, please feel to reach out in the comments and I can direct you to many articles on this very subject. We might actually want to do whew, a, example. Uh, sorry, use the update to showcase. So test Minecraft. Um, Again, I should point out this is not how Minecraft is built. This is the worst example in the example of human history. You're basically, um, taking Minecraft in its worst iteration and saying, "Hey, dump me into, uh, And here, I actually want to do is the graphics mono. Okay, well that didn't work out. And we could show that this is not going to be a great idea in terms of yeah. And then here I want to say the geo yeah, so I want to instantiate and then I say geo dot um, set use Minecraft is true. And then you could just use this to generate the method. And then I just want to say from here, we'll just say these two is going to be uh, is this no? I think we're already game objects. Oh no, we need a game object, so we're game object set active to B, and then this is Hamlet dot game object set active to the opposite of V. So this is B use Minecraft. So B stands for bool. Use is like because we're using a B, we're saying, hey, this is what we're trying to accomplish, and then yeah, we need to make this public and then get rid of the system because it created that for us. Anyway, so bam, and I feel like that's all we need to do. We've got the test Minecraft. We got a oh nope prefab match. So the prefab failed because it was a game object. Now we have a stone. And then from here, we can actually just delete our prefab from the scene, hit play, and we should generate a whole ton of blocks, which we can't see for some reason. Oh, yeah. Oh, and then under the prefab, we actually want to jump into the prefab here, and I want to actually change this to stone. It should have been stone by default. And here, let me say this is stone. I think you can actually, when I did this, it's like, okay, so if I come in here and say dirt, I think you can actually just um, reset this, and it should reset it to stone. But that loses our prefabs. But as such, we're good. So if I hit play, we now are generating all the data. Index was outside the bounds of an range. Um, oh, oh, okay, yeah. So okay, one other slight problem because I reset it. That's probably not a good idea. Don't do what I do what I do, not what I say. Yeah, that's it. So we need the grass stone. Yeah, this really should be on a materials, and yeah, this is not really how you should do it, but we're just trying to get a quick and dirty example of getting to this point. I thought about building all this before, but there again, so we're cool. Um, but you can see the problem is when we did all that, we now are saying, hey, our player, our player, on the hierarchy is now. Oh, here, let me actually create a um, ooh, let's see. Serialized field transform world transform. No, I really wish there was a way to say like world equals new transform. And I'd really just say this is the world, right? But you can't do that. And I don't, to me, it's like it makes no sense of why it doesn't contain a constructor, right? To me, could this should do what I'm about to do without. So what you just say is, I want to create a new game object dot transform, and that's what it should do, right? It should say, okay, well, I'm going to create a new transform, which is going to create a new game object with the name you give it, right? So this is like, to me, it's like a. I'm not sure if you can do a. So it's like, can you do a? Um, don't get sidetracked, Micaiah. That should be a principle here. So to me is like create a folder. We'll call this extensions. I don't think you can create a transform extension like I'm thinking about. Transform extension. Um, yeah, so it would be, I don't think you can do that because it would just, you could basically static, um, create game object, and then we'll just say, this, how do you say this? This transform T, string S name, and then how do I say this? And then I return a transform. Okay, so I would just say game object geo equals new game object with the S, and then I return the geo.transform. Oh, this is a static. This is a static. So this is a public static. And then yeah, just this is probably. I mean, this is like where a short could be made out of this. But I feel like the issue there is you can't do something on the test Minecraft, you can't do something like that because what you have to do is say just create geo with world, and then I can't, um, maybe if this works, I'll be shocked, um, because of the fact that this is going to be, oh, wow, it does work. Oh my goodness. And then yeah, from here, what you want to say is geo.transform.set parent to the world transform. Oops. Yes, yes, you almost had it. You almost had it, AI. Yeah, so the false indicates that this is really tricky, right? The false indicates that it's moving it into here without keeping its world position. Um, and that to me is like interesting, but yeah. Um, And alternatively now, so yeah, I'm shocked. I guess I'm really shocked that this works, right? So this, I guess, this transform is null, right? So when you look at the test Minecraft, it's null. And it's like, okay, I'm deleting it, okay. And then this is using this extension method to create the game object, right? So I guess that makes sense, right? So we're just saying and there again, like every transform, right? So if we say, hey, this is a uh, transform world object 2 is like, okay, and then you're just saying, hey, you're just create geo, because every transform will have that world 2. And I feel like there again, like, so if I do that, we're essentially creating a world 2. What? Oh, we're creating a what? Oh, yeah. So this is world, so we'll call this world 1, and this is going to be called world 0. So like the 0 is created because we're using the transform of the world 2, but the 1 is created because we're calling the function internally. So I mean, yeah, there's again, to do uh make this a short. Make this a short. So there again, so that's a really great example of how I would love to make this a short, and yeah, expand into that. So I'm shocked, you're shocked, let's just move on. So we can just say, hey, we're going to have the world transform create the world 0, whatever, doesn't really matter. It's just a name, it's signifying, and we're dropping all our game objects into that world. Now I know technically that my player is my unit space player, um, is right here. So here, let me create an empty, and we'll call this the graphics. This is going to be here, and then this is going to be 000, and we're going to drop this to here. Now, technically, oh, interesting. Why did that? Oh, right, because we're not creating. I'm like, oh, that fits perfectly. Well, yes, but now technically, what we could do is say that the character is actually up by 1, right? So they are like when you go out and say, okay, give me a place to spawn, it will say, well, 111 is a valid spawn point. So maybe that's a way to handle it. But essentially, the other way too is I was thinking I've got this height formula. So let's just say -1 in my height formula. And it's now oops, I can be mistaken on my height. Oh, and so again, so now we have to get rid of the floor. And are we good? Feels like we are good, but we shouldn't be. It's like we're okay. Yeah. So where our world space is here, we're at -1. Why is my unit space? Oh, my unit space was not up by 1. So now I don't have to use my unit space by 1, but I also have to understand that because we're here, our is 1.1. So I think that makes it a little bit easier in terms of there's a plus, right? So our, oops, oh no, this is 1. Yeah. So let me write down to the here, let me uh so the takeaways. Here, let me say, can I just insert? I think you have to insert a table, and I want to do a 2 by 2, 2 by 3 table, and I want to say for Minecraft and Hamlet, and I want these two to be. God, I'm probably gonna suffer no lunch. Anyways, okay, so Minecraft, we can see the unit graphics is centered on 000. The graphics will need to be adjusted to 0.1f in unit space or world, or in nodes node graphic space, in tile space, right? So in tile space. Yeah, I want to kind of try to make this very specific. So there again. So one here, let me insert a row below. Okay, there we go. Perfect. Okay, so we can see that in Minecraft where our graphics are centered on 000. This will make calculations so much easier, right? If you don't have to Well, it's actually not so bad. Here, let me get a, yeah. Hmm, where's my, are we still streaming? Yeah, we're still streaming. Sorry, I was just looking at YouTube here. Oh, where's YouTube? YouTube's here. I've lost my, excellent. Oh, yeah. Wow, it's already 3 p.m. Yeah, I probably should get some lunch and come back. Anyway, so I feel like, okay, we've now accomplished a small portion of the line stream, testing it out. I'm gonna get some lunch, uh, but we can see that we've now created the oh, and here, let me turn off the floor. We've created the Minecraft world, but you know, we can see, I acknowledge again, this is pushing uh 40,000 vertices. This is really bad for essentially it's what, how many, you know, for 100 blocks? I think that's 100 blocks. That's really bad. I mean, to me, it's like, yes, you can push millions of vertices, but that's really bad to start out like that. That's not the point of this video. The point of the video is um, um, to compare it. So now to next time we'll say to do, add in a height map. I want a center 3 by 3 to be 0. Actually, I could actually do that so easily, right? So to me, here, let's do that right now before we go to lunch, so you guys get a very exciting uh very exciting uh so let's do a dictionary. We'll do vector3 int, and then we'll do block, no, graphics. We should just name this something different, but graphics geo as my node dictionary. Uh, and then from here, we're just going to say, okay, from here, I'll just create a new, oh, come on, what happened? This keyboard is, my cat spilled water on my keyboard and killed it. And now it's like, so then from here, let's add the, oh, here, let me get the position, vector3 int v position. Uh, equals v position, and then this is v position of the geo. Yep. Okay. So now we're going to just go -1 to, oh, here, let's go to 1. And then this is -1 to 1. So we're going to get the distance of, here, let me int distance equals 1 distance. So this is actually a really, you know, that calculation right here is a, you know, this should actually say, here, let's say public static get immediate area, right? So this is a very helpful thing. And um, actually, let's do it differently, right? Let's say we're going to say public list of a vector3. We're going to need some of these functions down the line. So vector3 int get immediate area, and we're going to call this int distance. And then we're going to say, hey, I want this to be minus distance to minus, oops, distance to be minus distance to plus distance with the equal sign. It has to include that equal sign. And I want to say a list of vector threes, um, result, right? Result equals, I don't know. And then we're going to say return result. And then we're going to say this is the, why is this not happy? There we go. And then we're going to say result dot add the new vector3 of the, the position. Right, so this, well, I guess it doesn't really matter, but, oh, yeah, equals new x0z. When we're returning result, and you can actually do something crazy, right? You can say, hey, now that I've got this, I'm going to say list of vector3, total area equals get immediate area, and we're going to say the size. Yeah. And then we're going to say, yes. Oh, and I say there. So then we're going to say, hey, for each var total area, for each v in a area and total area, we could actually say this. Um, we could actually copy this and create this here and say, hey, you're going to be the this position, and eliminate that. And then this will say, hey, um, yes. And the one I want to do is here. And then from here, I actually want to say your height is going to be 1, right? So my height is 1. Oh my. I see an issue. I see an issue. So I'm just going to say the A area dot Y equals the height. I think can I not adjust that? Okay. Well, here, let me say A is the V position. The V position equals A area, and then the V position dot Y equals the height. Not modified because there's a for each iteration. Okay, yeah. And then this is the V position now. I was kind of thinking, yeah. So I was thinking I could do this differently, but maybe I can't. So then I want to say well, just keep going on here. Vector. So a list of vector 3 ints. We call this the player area equals get immediate area of the distance. This is actually like the radius. So this could be the radius of the area. So that's yeah. When you minus 10 plus 10, that's the radius, not the diameter. So or the distance. It's like the distance from the center maybe. But anyways, from here, I'd really like to say that yeah, I feel like I'm creating a problem for myself because I want to get the height. I guess to me it's like I need to get the height of this position for each of these areas. So for each a vector 3 int a neighbor in player area, which is that's kind of what we're trying to accomplish here. Oops, I want to say that this area here is equal to the height of the player. So then the node dictionary of the V position, and I want to say its transform.position will equal a new vector 3 of the V position. Here, let me say we'll just get a new vector position equals the V position, and I want to say V position dot Y equals 0. No, the V position 2, and then I'm going to set this to the new position. And in theory, that should do what I want it to do. We'll see. We'll see. Nope. Okay. Given key was not found in the dictionary. Okay, well that's understandable. Oh, I guess Siri's going off because I tapped her. Okay. The B position. Didn't we change the height? So we've got the area, getting the distance. The area is the position. Then we set the height to the V position, which we're doing down here. And then we're getting that V position dictionary. Oh, I see it right here. There we go. That's the bug. So I set the original V position. This is like, the original position. And then I want to say this is going to be the new position, right? So we're trying to well, you'll be able to see it, right? That's hopefully we'll be able to see this in a second. There we go. So, but why does this feel like my unit space needs to be 1, right? So my unit space needs to be 1. And there we go. So we're basically creating, you can see now, is we created an area around us, and as that distance is changing, we are, we're wanting to create this uh you know, like, and then so you can imagine, like, okay, now my character can move forward one, right? So if I say, okay, I'm going to move forward one on the X, oops, oh, that's not good. Oh, on the Z, yes, more forward on the Z. And if I'm going to move another, so if I move forward in here and I say, okay, now I'm going to move two, and I need to take a step up, right? So now we're taking a step up. So now we're onto that. So that would be essentially how you would move in Minecraft. Now you'd probably have to jump and do a lot of things, but essentially I'm going to take two steps forward and one step up. Oh, no, two. Um, but yeah, so that's the movement that I want to see now. So now that's how it looks, right? The world looks. And then again, like, so from here, I could actually say, um, what we're going to do is say set, no, this is going to be set tile, tile to, um, material types dot dirt, or like grass, right? Let's set it to grass. Um, yeah, so now I can just say, hey, uh, public void set material. Here, let me, um, God, I'm like, oh, one more thing, one more thing, one more thing. Set tile, let's see, create a method. And we're going to say, hey, this method, I want to bump to here. So essentially, since this is uh, you know, the code thing we're trying to do, so I want to say this, um, like, so we'll say this dot material equals the oops, equals the grass, and I want to say this is the new tile type, and then from here I want to say like apply. So let's see, avoid apply is here. So I want to say you could do an on change to an apply, but essentially I'm like, okay, well, I'm good, right? So from here I just hit apply. We've changed the material type. It's going to now reset both material types. So now we should have a grass on 0. Um, well, actually, let me set this material, this geo dot set, um, no, set tile to um, grass, dirt. Yes, grass, I guess. And then this is going to be set to dirt. Yeah, to dirt. Um, Yeah, so we'll see, like, we've essentially carved out this piece of dirt. So I think that looks pretty good. It could be, could be dirt, could be grass. And there again, after 50 ticks, it will turn into dirt. I don't know. Anyway, so that's good. So now what we want to do is the next stream will focus on the ability to compare that result. So here, let me maximum on play. We're going to say, hey, we're going to play, and we're going to copy this. Oh, no, print screen this, and we're going to add this to our down here. We're going to, oops, nope. Why are you not? Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I'm going to copy this. Yeah, and we want to add this to to our, we've completed the first leg of our journey. Uh, yeah, so here is the Minecraft output and what it looks like. Now want we want to compare the Hamlet 0.1 uh, tile tiles to its output. And I feel like, to me, to do right. So the next step would be, hey, let's get rid of this because we're cool. The next to do is tile this the farther away you take a step up. So it's like tiered, this tiered ground approach, right? So it's like where, yeah. So I'd like to, like step up in each distant, check. I'm not sure how to do that, right? So to me, it's like, um, yeah, I feel like I don't know. I'm not sure how to do that. Essentially, I guess we could do like a distance check. Um, yeah, so we could do it like, we could create the player area, and then we could say get we could say get distance of player plus 1 to 2, and then if not in dictionary, this is like pseudocode at this point, dictionary, add to world, stepping stepping up by desired height, and then repeat this to um, let's get player of area 2, and then you know, and then this is repeat until done. Yeah, so you get the distance. So you have this radius of 1. You add the radius, so the radius plus equal 1, and then um, you say if node dictionary the key contains key this tile, you know, x or x plus equal the radius, the new position dot z plus equal the radius, whatever. Um, yeah. Well, this is here. We'll say new vector 3 of 101. Essentially, this is again very pseudocode. So if this new position contains equals false, then you know create the new node. Oh, sorry, it's equals false. There we go. And do I actually need that one? No. Okay. Create the new node. So yeah. Anyway, so that's the plan. Oh, this is a next position. So the next position, we'll convert that into real code in a minute, but that's essentially the idea. I'd like to get rid of all this, convert this into a function, continue to use this. There again, we're going to have to create to do create the file here, and then yeah, so we'll convert this over to that. We'll get this tiered approach, and then so it'll probably be another hour or two. Yeah, should be like 15-20 minutes now that we write all the pseudocode, but yeah, convert all that to a tiered tile approach, and then showcase that against the Hamlet point one example, and then we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I'm Micaiah. This has been an awesome live stream. I hope it worked out really well. Again, this is very testy. I'd like to see if it's my goal would be that we've created a live stream channel playlist that will hopefully contain all the live streams I do, that you can access that channel, and I can get rid of the background noise of the water in the future and not be so distracted. But yeah, create a playlist of all the live streams. Go live when I kind of recreate these program examples, just kind of these one-offs that I do. And then again, if I get into the larger Hamlet, tiles, packages, I mean, there's a lot of things. I'll probably release an official video here in a couple of day to a week, talking about all the changes and what I'd like to go over. But yeah, you'll be able to, go into that live stream playlist, and then view the back live streams. And hopefully, as it grows in popularity, people will comment, and we can, yeah, feel free to comment, like, subscribe down below, all that stuff. I'm definitely interested in the feedback. I would say that's the 100% of the takeaway. I'm doing this because uh, I love doing it, and I'm hoping I'll get some feedback about this is great. Why did you do it this way? Even bad feedback, right? I mean, I've been programming for 20 plus years. I don't mind bad feedback. I mean, it does affect me, but I just, yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be useful because, yeah, I'm hoping it's going to be useful for you, as we develop things later. Okay, thanks very much. Have a great day. I appreciate it all.